Neverness to Everness has recently released multiple videos focused around Hotori, and after watching all of them, we're getting a much clearer idea of who she is, what her story is about even outside of the game, and why she might be one of the most interesting characters that NTE has shown so far. Unlike some of the other trailers that we've seen, however, focus on city life or more gameplay features, Hotori's videos are much more emotional and symbolic. They focus heavily on time, memories, loneliness, and the idea of being unable to fully escape the past. So with this, in today's video, we're going to break down Hotori's animated video, her character PV, and go over what they've revealed about her character and why her presentation stands out a decent amount. Without further ado though, let's get straight into it. To start, let's begin with Hotori's animated video, A Pocket Watch and the Sweep of Time. This video is basically Hotori's backstory, and honestly, it's definitely one of the better character videos that NTE has released so far. It shows us what Hotori went through before reaching the calmer life that we know her for right now in game, and we've seen parts of her past, how she met Adler, what she suffered through, and eventually how she gained her powers. What I really liked here though is that the video wasn't just an explanation through dialogue, and instead it relied on the atmosphere and storytelling through visuals for us to actually understand what Hotori went through. The snowy environments, quiet moments, injured Hotori, and repeated focus on time all create this pretty lonely and honestly sad feeling around her character. She feels like someone who's already gone through a lot before the story even begins, and that makes her feel very different, especially if you compare it to some of the other characters, including Nanali or even Ji-Yuan from their trailers. Nanali's trailers, by comparison, however, were much more energetic, chaotic, and expressive, while Hotori's videos were much quieter, heavier, and this makes sense considering what she's had to deal with. This isn't an over-animated or very loud or goofy sort of trailer. She just feels very reserved, damaged, and distant from this trailer specifically. Now, in terms of details, one of the most important ones that we've seen in the video is obviously the pocket watch. At the start, we saw the present version of Hotori giving the pocket watch to Adler in the past, but later we see that same present-day Adler was actually the one who gave that same pocket watch to Hotori back when she was injured in her own past. This kind of created this loop, in my mind at least, between Hotori and Adler, where the idea connected the both of them through different points in their lives. And since Hotori fixates on the concept of time a lot, I do think that this fits her quite well. Her story doesn't just treat time as something simple or linear, instead the past and present are constantly tied together through memories, objects, and moments that keep repeating. This also makes Adler's role in her story feel much more important because he's not just someone that she meets randomly. He's directly connected to one of the key objects that defines her, and though this wasn't a super long trailer, this does give us a lot of insight into Hotori's thinking, where her mind's at, and her role in the story. Now, the next video we had was Hotori's powers and lonely past, and this video also gives us a better idea of how Hotori gained her powers. Her time manipulation feels tied to the pain and tragedy that she experienced, which makes her abilities feel more personal and meaningful, which is great because I personally, especially before really reading into it, thought she was kind of just a character who stopped time because she was powerful or had some sort of gift given to her. Instead, her powers are connected to her past, her memories, and the moments that she couldn't fully move on from. This is also why I think the title's so fitting, as again, A Pocket Watch and the Sweep of Time immediately tells you that time isn't a mechanic for her, it's her life. By the end of the video though, you can see how this lonely and hurt version of Hotori eventually transitions into becoming much calmer and more composed, as we've seen her in present day Heathrow. But next we have her character PV, which title can be translated something close to like Echoes of the Past or Memories Within the Vessel. Now here Hotori fights an anomaly that takes the form of her past self, which instantly makes the encounter feel way more different than a normal fight. Now this of course isn't just about overpowering or beating up an enemy. The anomaly basically turns her own history into an enemy, forcing her to face the part of herself shaped by isolation, pain, and everything she had to survive before her current life. The title of this one also happens to fit quite well here, as the idea of the past inside a vessel matches the way this PV presents memories as something more contained, preserved, and then forced back in front of her. After watching A Pocket Watch and the Sweep of Time, this one I would say definitely hits a bit harder emotionally, because we now have a bit more understanding of the version of Hotori that's shown here, and it isn't just a cool visual mirror match and fight, it actually has quite a bit of significance on her life. It represents the life she escaped from and the feelings that still follow her even now, and though of course a lot of this can be left up to interpretation or there's maybe details that I've missed, that's what made the combination or sequence of PVs that I watched this in quite interesting, at least for me. It uses an anomaly fight to show Hotori's character conflict visually instead of just telling us that she has a tragic past, which would otherwise leave us longing for a bit more explanation explanation of what that really means. After watching all these videos though, what I think stood out the most to me though was how consistent Hotori's presentation is. The animated short gives context to her background and connection with Adler, the character PV showed her being forced to confront the past through an anomaly, and though all the videos were different, they all build towards the same idea. Hotori is a character shaped by time, memory, her experiences, and her loneliness, and that to me is what makes her feel so complete. Her gameplay is about stopping time and replaying recorded moments, while her story is about someone whose past is still haunting her and following her into the present. This sort of unique connection between gameplay and character is honestly what makes her, in my opinion, pretty interesting as a concept, and again, pretty much everything about her powers, her visuals, her videos, and even the pocket watch all revolve around the same theme. Overall though, I think these videos did a pretty good job building interest around Hotori. The animated video gives her some emotional weight or baggage to kind of explain why she thinks the way that she does. The PV gives her internal conflict and symbolism and why we're here at this point, and together they make her feel like easily one of the most carefully presented characters that NTE has shown so far. Of course, I'll be interested to see how all of this is handled in game, either through a side story or some other context I'm sure that will be given, but overall I was pretty impressed by what they showed with Hotori. Anyways, after watching all these videos though, I was pretty interested in Hotori already, but now I'm definitely more interested in pulling her, but to be honest, I was always going to anyways, as again, she feels elegant, lonely, and mysterious, and whether you care for her gameplay or not, I think she definitely stands out as one of the more memorable characters that NTE has shown so far, but of course, we're still in the early days of NTE. That's it for today's video though, guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.